Why do some people have hip pain and others don't? What is their secret? I am Liebscher Bracht, and I will tell you how come. Apart from that, we'll do the 4 exercises that require pain-free hips. René is here again today. He will show you the exercises and I will explain them afterwards. But before, I still have something to explain. I don't know if you noticed, I said the exercises that need pain-free hips. You may think, do pain-free hips actually need exercises? Well, if someone performs certain movements because these movements are an exercise and these movements precisely represent the exercises that the hips need, then they are pain-free. Pain-free hips are a coincidence. They are namely the result of a person's movement profile. But if this movement profile of a person somehow includes these 4 exercises that we are about to do by chance, because he exercises, because he has hobbies, because he has a specific profession in which certain movements occur, then he is pain-free. And if he doesn't make the movements in his everyday life, then he gets pain. That is the whole secret. The secret is really chance. But coincidence, we don't accept that.
No.
We are now turning chance into a targeted approach to make hips pain-free precisely with these 4 exercises. You should do the first exercise on the chair. There are many other ways, but on the chair you have at home, you can easily do it. Sit on the chair.
I am already sitting.
And now you slide forward so far that the buttocks are just still well on the chair.
Does he mean the buttocks with the gluteus?
Exactly. That is too far. Yes or yes, that's how it goes.
So it still fits.
It just can't be that you can slide down. And now let's assume that René wants to make his right hip pain-free. If you have a problem with the left one, then simply do the same exercise on the other side. So, and now stay calm and lean back, that's good. And now lay down, stretch your left leg forward and place your right leg on your knee. No, on the left knee. Exactly. Just as, and now bend your left leg by pulling your left foot towards you. Exactly.
Stand up.
That would be a good starting position if it is possible. It may also be that your knee is raised so high because it does not come down lower. Everything is not bad. If it happens like this, then it is naturally better because the leg is bent. It is better than when it is stretched. The higher the foot is pulled up on the extended leg, the better the starting position. But what you do then is always the same in all these different leg positions. And so you straighten your back and go into a hollow back. Yes, go into the hollow back.
Oh, then I already changed the leg position? Bad?
Yes, try to leave it there. No, it's not bad. Go into a hollow back and hold on to the right knee firmly with the right hand and to the ankle with the left hand.
Yes.
You can also place your forearm on your knee here. This is especially important or beneficial when you want to push your knee down because it is still too high. So ideally, you can grip here, also push down with your hand, you can go over with your arm. The 2 options, depending on body density that you have, you can apply. Go into a hollow back, as far as possible into a hollow back, and it may be that you have to bend quite far back in the hip to even achieve that. But that's not bad. You arch your back and now you stay in the hollow of your back.
Yes, but stop, wait, now it goes up automatically, then I have to push it down again.
You have to push it down.
And still hollow back.
And still hollow back. Yes, so much at once. And now you pull yourself forward.
With hollow back.
With hollow back. And then you notice that the stretching is directly noticeable.
I can't go any further.
Yes. And where is it stuck?
Once here.
Exactly.
There.
Exactly. And then less in and around the right buttock. And that's exactly where the stretching should go because those are the gluteal muscles and a few others, mainly the gluteal muscles. And if it is too short, there is already a reason to get hip problems, hip pain, hip osteoarthritis.
But is this not good now, what I am doing? I have to slowly get better now. What do I pay attention to now?
You make sure that your stretching pain in your buttocks, where you feel it, is still tolerable. And let's say if you can't manage to keep your back straight and it is a bit bent, bend a little, that's not so bad either, but you have the best effect when you are completely straight. So you can't make any mistake that would allow this exercise to be ineffective in any way. It will always have an effect. But what I'm showing you is simply what is most effective. And that is the case with hollow back, with straight back. Time is still important. How long are we stretching?
So I think I'm already done. I think 2 minutes, 2.5.
Exactly, 2 to 2.5 minutes. And in these 2 to 2.5 minutes, this stretching intensity will continue to decrease. And when it goes down, you always go a little further forward, preferably when exhaling. You breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in again. And remember, always stretch a little more while exhaling. That brings good progress because the body relaxes during exhalation and you can take advantage of that. We stay on the chair for the second exercise. Pay close attention now. Renee, first take your right leg. You are practicing with your right leg. Remember, if you have problems with your left leg at the left hip, then you take the left leg. Take your right leg back under the chair and calmly lift it up with the sole of your foot, practically with the tip of your foot, exactly. And now there are two possibilities. One possibility is that your knee is still hanging in the air. That's not a problem. No, stay there, stay there. That is one possibility. And the other possibility, your chair is so low that you might even be on the ground with your knee. Both are possible, it doesn't matter. So you go into this position, but don't push, don't push your buttocks further forward than the other, but simply move the leg as far back as possible. And now it is important, from the position, you secure yourself on the chair, hold on to the edge of the chair or the backrest so that it retracts well. But the left leg stays as it is. You can safely move it a little forward.
Okay.
To support the barrel well, yes, then you have a better feeling. Yes. So, and now you pull in your belly button. Yes, pull in your belly button so that when you go backwards.
We agreed that pulling in the belly button is lifting the pubic bone, right?
Very precise, very precise. Yes. That is practically the same, right? Yes. You pull in your belly button, pubic bone is lifted, but ultimately it's not about the belly button or the pubic bone. It is about the fact that the hip now moves backwards when the torso moves backwards. Not as effective would be if you bend backwards over the pelvis at the trunk. And that's why I always say pull the belly button back, lift the pubic bone instead of overextending in the torso. Because that wouldn't bring much stretching because we want to stretch the hip flexor here. Now we slowly go backwards, but not up there, but rather down here with the pelvis. And then you immediately notice the stretching here, all the way into the groin, maybe even pulling into the back. Don't do it too hard, Renee.
Yes.
So that you can still tolerate it well.
Now I can bear it well.
Okay. And then increase again for 2 to 2.5 minutes. And the intensity should always be as high as possible so that the stretching pain is just bearable. It must still be possible to have a warm smile with a slightly pained facial expression. That is exactly the right dosage. This side position on the floor, that is the starting position for the third exercise. Now we are talking about the outside of the pelvis, where there are also muscles that can tighten the hip properly. Lie down like this, Renee. If the left side is a problem, then just turn to the left side down. And now you take your left leg and place the foot there and support yourself on the right arm. Yes, and specifically on the extended arm. Yes. And now move your foot a little further forward over there. Yes. And turn around. Now it's pulling in the stretch.
Yes, exactly.
And if you now go further back with your right hand, so there.
Oh, then it becomes more intense.
Yes, but it could also be that you still lift off a little there. You don't necessarily have to be down there.
Would it be better to take off?
That works both ways. You can really put in a lot of effort or you can push yourself up from below.
What is my goal?
Your goal is to feel a pulling sensation on the right side of your pelvis.
Okay, I have achieved that. That hurts.
If you can't hold it with your right hand, then you can alternatively rest your right forearm there. Do that.
That must be easier. Oh yes, that is better.
And be quiet vertical here, and then you realize that you can really hang in there nicely. Also goal, as I said, is that you feel the stretch on the right hip side, and when you are more or less in it, then you test now and first go back with the knee. And then your pelvis rotates a little bit, and now you have, I think, less stretching, right? Yes.
Also, it is more pleasant.
Yes, pleasant means less effective, less work. Because the exercise is effective when it pulls properly. Without proper pulling, you won't get any improvement. And that's why you now move your knee further forward. I would say, here I can imagine, there you have the highest stretching intensity.
And I definitely notice that it pulls right into the hip.
Exactly. And if you now notice that gravity is pulling too hard, that it stretches too much, then you push yourself a little bit up with your left leg and help yourself a little bit so that you feel less of this stretching. Yes?
Yes.
2 to 2.5 minutes, always increasing and properly freeing the hip here. Let's summarize once again. In the first 3 exercises, we stretched the back, especially the buttocks. In the second exercise, we stretched the hip flexor and other adjacent muscles here in the front. And in the third exercise, we stretched the outside. What else is missing? The inside of the thigh. You stand behind a chair, make a little contact there. It is important now that the chair is high enough so that you do not have to lean forward, but rather that you stand reasonably straight. You can just reach it with your fingertips. If it wouldn't take long, rather stand in front of a table, which is higher than a chair, and you can stabilize yourself better. Why is this important? Because first of all, let's stand a little closer, stand normally. First of all, pull in the belly button, lift the pubic bone, straighten the hips, and get out of the hollow back. And in the position you now touch the chair, go quite loosely with your feet apart as far as you notice that there is not much stretching yet.
Now let's pull up the pants a little bit.
Now you are already slightly in the hollow back. Let's go out of the hollow back now. So again, pull in your belly button, straighten your pelvis. If you can't steer it that way with this pelvic angle, it's not a big deal. But we show you here the optimum, which has the highest effectiveness. If you go a little bit into the hollow back, you still have a good effectiveness, but not the highest anymore. Therefore, try to remove the hollow back as much as possible. But if it doesn't quite work yet, then let it become less and less over time. And now the technique is as follows. You move a little forward, and then your heels are relieved, and then you go a little further apart with your heels. Then you go a little bit backwards, attention hollow back, yes. And when you have gone further back, always hold on tight. Then the tips of the feet go a little bit further apart. Then you go forward again with the weight. Watch out for a hollow back.
Why do I always get a hollow back?
Because the body is already pulling on the hip flexor. Because the hip flexor is often so short that even during this movement, the hip flexor, which is attached here on the inside, pulls the lower back in. And that's why you have to clearly oppose it, so that you also get into the best stretch of the hip flexor. Then a little bit backwards and the tips of the feet apart and a little bit forwards.
Now it's getting tight, right? Back there.
Okay, when it gets tight, then you stay there. Now, which rule applies? It must be just bearable.
I have to go up again.
Then go up a little, but don't go all the way out. Don't stop the exercise. Renee was now too much into the intensity. That should actually not happen. So take care of yourself so carefully that as soon as you notice that you are in your pain limit, you can also stop, so that you don't have to say, oh, that was too much, now I have to get out.
2 minutes.
Yes, but look, stay relaxed, because just bearable means you can even stay in there for 4 minutes.
No, I have to go out, Roland.
Yes, then go outside a bit. Okay, how is it now? Great that it's happening, because you can learn a lot from it.
I no longer sweat. The sweat has directly pierced my face.
Okay, so you have previously disregarded an important rule, namely, you have practiced too intensively. Note, whenever what happened to Renee happens to you, and you think, I have to get out, the intensity is way too high, then such an exercise becomes agonizing and are no longer fun. You must have a stretching pain, but it must still be tolerable, it must still be a comfortable pain, and then you can stay in such a stretch for 16 hours. Yes, because it doesn't torment you to go out. That is, of course, an exaggeration, but basically that's true. So you must never be forced out of the exercise due to the intensity of the stretching, because then you have to endure your 2 to 2.5 minutes relaxed. Because don't forget, tension on the muscles is stress. If the exercise itself causes stress, that is completely counterproductive, because you are bringing stress back into the brain, into the tension of the muscles. And therefore slowly out again then, after a while, it's best to always alternate nicely, and during the exercise, very, very important, your feet must not slide. You have to do them on a non-slip floor, because if you keep sliding further in due to gravity, you will keep tilting further into this area that is too painful, and then you have to get out, then it's too much. Those were the 4 exercises that no longer leave it up to chance. Whether you get hip pain or not, I can almost guarantee you that the probability is very, very high. That if you do these 4 exercises, your hip pain will become less and completely disappear, or if you want to work preventively, you won't have any. To understand this even better, we have made a very special video, a hip explanatory video. Click on it, watch it. The more you know, the more powerful you are in dealing with your pain. And that's why we say ciao, adieu.